Okay, so today is the day. Taking the engine out of the Porsche 996 Porsche 911. We're gonna do this. Then the following day or so, we'll do a inventory what all we need to order. This is my sister Amanda. She's gonna be helping us a little bit. Hey guys.
A little bit. Well, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see how it all goes. She's been doing some of the short videos for us to kind of fill in some of the gaps. But we just started on that, so bear with us a little bit. We have a lot of other stuff coming. Music-wise, we have somebody doing that for us now. A lot of things changing on the Porsche channel and on the BMW channel and on the MRE channel. Stay tuned for all that, but let's get started. First things first, take the back bumper off, and we'll go from there. So she's never used the impact before, so that's scary. Okay, be careful not to hit the paint with that. We're gonna sit that back on the workbench, and then at this point in time, we're gonna come in here, we're gonna pull the screws out from under here. I think there's one or two on the bottom. Yep. And we're gonna take the back bumper off. Probably what we're gonna do, you don't have to take any of the exhaust off to do this. We're probably gonna go ahead and unhook the muffler. Since this is a newer stainless exhaust, we should be able to get that off and out of the way, no problem. Also, been eyeing down some muffler delete pipes, which are like this long, and are like $100. So we'll probably do that before we put it back together, and don't have to deal with those big giant mufflers at all. But let's lift it up and continue on. Let's put them all in the thing there. Let me get the Makita light and see. This is same as over here. That's gonna have to have a screwdriver probably. See, it's almost like somebody's had all this crap off recently. Oh.
Ooh, look at that.
Bolts on top. Pull the bolt off. There you go. Throw it in the trash. Go back here and just kind of put a hand on it so it don't fall off. I'm going to unsnap this side. Okay, hold on. Now let's go ahead and pull. Those probably got plugs on them. I don't know. We should probably just do this. Well, we don't get halfway out and it's freaking a problem. No? Interesting. Let's try to pull it off. We'll come back to that. Hold on. There we go. We'll have to go on that side and pull that side off. I'm gonna unplug. Okay, there it is. Okay, hold on. Got that side?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so just to recap, there's a Phillips screw here. There was two here. There was the ones along the top we took out first. There was one on each side and the bottom. The same on the other side. Then here we had two Allen bolts that go up from the bottom that hold the bumpers on. And also hold the bumper on. There's a wasp nest and all kinds of crap down in there. And those two are off. The middle one, just might put a different bolt in there. That's turning. That's pulling through. Okay. Flip it up like that so the dirt don't fall out of it. So we're by the bumper, and now we can see all the exhaust, everything on there. All right, so now what we're gonna lower the car down. We're gonna go to pull out the air box. I think we're going to pull out the secondary air pump. You can see this exhaust is not very rusty at all. And those muffler delete pipes, there's a clamp right here that unbolts, right? Essentially, it unbolts here, and the muffler delete pipe just goes from there out. instead of looping around going through the whole muffler. But that'll be at a later date. Somebody's been in here because there is nuts missing. Locking lug nuts. Thank you, whoever put that on here, because what I always say, if you live in a spot, your wheels are gonna get stolen, you probably need to move. We got it off. That was a 15/16 socket that took that bad boy off. So now what we gotta do, not only that, but we need to get some lug nuts for this. These are all rusty and nasty, and now we're missing a lug nut for each wheel after we take the wheels off. Sweet. All right, let's move on. It's pretty big. Are these 285? Or are these bad boys? 275, 35, 18s. Okay, so I got one behind here. We got to take these off. I'm going to show you here in a second. I got one there. We got one here. There's a hidden one. There's one here. There's a hidden one in here. You can see it falls down. And then we're going to slip this out of here because it's just absolutely full of dirt. Hold that for a second. Absolutely just full of dirt and grime. Look at that. Just totally full of it. We're going to trash can. We're going to dump that out. And we were just talking. We're surprised this car isn't rusty. Surprised it isn't rusty back under this panel. But it's not at all. Just dirty. Look at the dirt still stacked up in there. Okay, let's move on. We're going to take these bars off next. You got to take this bolt. There's a nut up here. That was nice of them. A bolt there. And we're going to take this cross member out. We're trying to clear a pathway for the transmission and engine all to drop through the bottom of the car. We're going to pull off. Oh, it's lovely. So I can strip it out real quick. There's that. And set that over there in front of the car. And probably what we should do, and we'll leave them out. Usually, we put those back in the holes. These are green. Have like a green Loctite on them, so we know what they're for. There's no question about it. So those are a little bin. Next up, we're gonna pull all these arms off. 16. That one is not a 16. So I got one in the middle, I think. Does that come all the way through? No. Got it? Hold it.
Set this one up.
Before we go any further, let's go ahead and drain the oil out of this thing. Oh, Jesus. I'll flip it off the lift. We'll kind of keep an eye on it here to see how it looks coming out. We're going to look for water, coolant. No coolant at all. Zero. So the angle on this thing, we still don't know what happened to it, why it has oil in the coolant. At this point in time, we have to take the engine out. We got to do all the stuff to it. I think it has a cracked head, even though it doesn't. It like starts and drives perfectly. Doesn't smell like coolant. Doesn't smell like anything. It smells totally normal. Best case scenario, somebody dumped oil in the coolant reservoir by accident. Worst case scenario, it's a cracked head with bore score. But the cracked head's not that big a deal. Actually, we found a local shop to do the bore score machine work. So, heck is that? You see that? Big chunk fell out. Something. The bore score is for us is going to be about $1,000 to fix it. A new cylinder head. Had this reworks about 500. I used one off eBay's 350, something like that. Just got to figure out what to do, and then we're going to drain this and drain the coolant. We'll be right back. So what we're doing here. Taking this, breaking all this stuff loose. Using our aviator wrenches. We've actually used these more than the last week than I ever thought we would, to be totally honest. There's also one other thing about doing this engine removal. You gotta be a little careful on the lift because we're taking the engine all the way out of the back, even though we have the lift points are right behind the back tires. There is still a slight possibility if you pick up on it or do anything, you could flip it off the lift. And what a lot of guys do, they put like a strap from this point to the lift arm, which may not be that bad of an idea, just to give a little reassurance. Because when you're putting it back in, you're not thinking you're picking up on the engine, doing something, and you could do that and it'll fall right inside the G-Wagon, which would be great, right? That'd be sweet. And so there is that. One thing I noticed about this car, every bolt we take out, there's sand coming out of it. Which, I mean, makes a person wonder, is there a possibility that this thing got some water in it? And that's why there's... I want to make oil in the coolant, though. I don't know. It's a very strange deal. We did buy this right on the ocean. So that does definitely open up possibilities for very bad things to happen, for sure. Fall. Look at all the sand. I don't know what the heck. What the heck, boys? But the cost member's out. So now we're going to have to do is probably the very next thing. Let the car down. Pull everything from the top out. We'll lift it back up. We'll pull the coolant lines off the lowest point, which is going to be there, or where they go on, probably right here. Okay, so we just took the throttle body boot off. There's one bolt here. Mass airflow sensor unplugged. I'm going to try to fish out the whole entire air box. Like that. I'm curious to see how the air filter looks. Probably pretty scary. I'll get a light in here. This thing just very corroded. I mean, I don't know. But look how rotten that hose is. Just soft, you know. Just way, way, way overdue for any of that. We gotta figure out how this comes off. We gotta pull out the secondary air pump, which is right here. I'm gonna go and do that now because that's gonna be right in the way of a lot of stuff. That's a 10 mil. 10 mil, we'll get our swivel. No. Is there another one? Yes, sir, there is. So 3 bolts in this pump. And we're not done underneath the car. We're still gonna have to take the CV axle bolts out and several other things. Let me get a... I cannot turn this, so we're gonna screwdriver just kind of loosen it up just a little bit. And see if we can essentially push the hose off without just totally ruining it. Usually you take pliers and you twist it, but this one wouldn't do that. Jeez. Got one more wire loom piece right there. There you go. Then right here we have our oxygen sensor plugs. It always helps you bang your head on the trunk lid first. Pull that red deal up. Oxygen sensor's done there. There's 2 more on this side. Let's go ahead and pull those up and out. And you notice what I'm doing? I'm just taking the screwdriver, just sticking that in there. That's some mass airflow. Pop these out. Okay. That's all done. Those wires are going to fold over. Here. Those will stay with the engine when the engine comes out. The same with those. And we're going to have to go and pull this reservoir out. That's going to allow us to get to fuel lines and different things down here. The fuel line is right here on the very edge. All right, so we're just going to pull this drain plug out for the coolant. Straight water. Oh, sit down. There's a little drain plug. It does have a little bit of milky oil or something on the end of it. Yep. So I don't know. I mean, there's no coolant in it, so there is that. Hard telling. It does have straight water in it. Keep in mind, it does freeze in Biloxi, Mississippi, where we got this at. Straight water is never a good idea, no matter where you live. Unless you live in like Hawaii, where there's 0 chance of it freezing. And because even if you don't have an issue with the freezing, if you sell it to somebody or somebody borrows your car and drives off in it, drives it just a little bit north, then it's going to freeze and lock up. Retorque this, even though we're going to more than likely change the crush washers on them. Okay, so next on the list, we're going to have to get that coolant reservoir out. Unfortunately, what we're going to have to do to get that out is lower the engine down a little bit, probably. Okay, so we just pull off the radiator hoses on the bottom. These go to the front of the car for the radiators. And look at this. That one's just about ruptured. And, well, it's full of goo, oil and water to start with. But you cannot run hoses that long, that many years, and the combination of miles on any car, and they start deteriorating severely. So if this car didn't need the engine pulled out, we'd have been driving it, and that would have blew out. I mean, it would have overheated it. Very well could be how I got overheated in the first place, if that's what happened. And you can see all these little hoses up here. These are not the factory hoses. These are just like AutoZone hoses that are pre-bent, and they're all broken down too and nasty. So we're gonna have to try to locate a whole hose kit for this car in the midst of doing all this. I need quite a bit of parts. So far, just in my mind, knowing what stuff costs, they're probably about $1,500 just in engine pieces to get this thing correct again. This is where we're at with it. We gotta take the coolant reservoir out, but you gotta let the engine down a little bit to get that out, just the way it is. So we have our cart that should hold 750 pounds, which is probably debatable at this point. But we're gonna find out. What we're gonna do now is take out the engine mount bolt on this side, and the other side is gonna let the back of the engine set on the cart. We'll bump the lift up a little bit, and that is going to let the coolant reservoir come out. A couple things to do up here. We're already gonna hook the wiring harness, but we have to unhook the fuel lines. There's an evap line or two up here, and then we have to do something with the AC compressor and those lines. So let's go ahead and get to it. Zip this out. Okay. And let's go to the other side. Put your wrench on this one, on the big middle one. Well, the cart didn't shatter in a million pieces, so there is that. And only bump the lift up just a smidge, and let's see what we're gonna have here. Is the cart bending? Yeah, a little bit. I think if I just kick that leg, it just shatter it. Cannot push that button. Somebody like glue that in there, or what's even going on? What's even happening here? There. There's this thing. This is full of oil / coolant. Set that over there to set it up on something so it doesn't fall over. Or it'll leak some on the floor and it'll be totally nasty. So we're gonna have to pull a couple things out here. There's no lights anywhere close to over here. It's gonna be black. Get a light in here. I'll be able to show you guys a little more what's going on. So, first of all, that has to go right now. That's stretching that. It's all junk anyway, so it doesn't really matter. We have a fuel line right here. There's another fuel line right here. It has to be unhooked. And I think there was an evap line in here somewhere. We also got to unhook this guy right here. Maybe not. Maybe that'll stay with it. I think that'll stay with the engine. And somebody's rigged this together. Some kind of AutoZone deal. And yeah, so let's go ahead and get at it, I guess. Okay, so we just pulled that hose off. It's got a bunch of gravy in it. Looks delicious, I know. Also, one thing we forgot to do, since this is not a drive-by-wire car, we got to unhook our throttle body cable. Like so. Let's get a push clamp there. With your little lineman pliers. Maybe. Like that. That has another mount back here. I think this has to slip out and away when the engine comes down, so we'll get that nice and freed up like so. Got our plugs unplugged. So I think we're down to these two fuel lines on this side and the AC. We just unhooked the evap lines right here. The big line right there. We just took the two bolts out, didn't worry about taking the fitting off. No chance of breaking it. Over here we got the power steering lines are undone. Now the AC thing, I cannot find any information on it, and we're probably going to have to unhook the lines and lose the Freon. I hate to do that, but I don't see any way around it at this point. Because if we go taking the compressor off, there's a whole host of issues why that's not going to come off without taking the intake manifold off. We did take this lower hose off here and the one over there, the two main hoses. Those are all done. And I think, I'm not sure how this comes off. Hopefully we could just go like this, hold it up and slip it past the car. So yeah, there's an Allen key right here on the compressor. It takes that off. Hopefully that comes off. Another one up here, right there. That takes that line off. They're going to be free. So everything is off at this point except for that and the transmission mount. So we'll just have to slide under the car and pop that loose. And I think that's it. But there might be something else dangling. If there is, we'll let you guys know. Overall, it's been a pretty easy job as far as engine removal goes. Obviously on the BMW, I can't just rip it all apart and I didn't have to think about it. This is a little bit different car. I've had engines out of 911s before, but it was older 911 than this. So it's a lot different. A lot more simple, I would say. Okay, so where we're at right now is we took the power steering lines off. That was kind of a pain in the butt. We took both the AC lines off the compressor, which there was no gas in it. There's a little bit of air come out, so it wasn't totally empty, but there was no Freon in it. So I don't know at this point if somebody's already had this apart, because being in the South, you wouldn't let something go with no AC at all. So I don't know. A lot of unknowns about this. We're all ready here to drop this thing. I need to go under the car, undo the transmission mount, and then it's pretty much sitting on the cart. I wonder if that's going to come all the way out of there, if that's going to hang. Nope, it'll come out. Little stud came out. Okay, the whole thing's on there. Go bump the lift up just a little bit. Oh, hold on. A little bit wasn't 10 inches. No, just hold on. No, I think we're free. I just don't want to go. I gotta go real slow because we don't want to pull anything. Scare me, buddy. My little heart's pitter pattering. All right, again. One more time. What?
The leg of the cart's just bending pretty bad.
I mean, all the weight's on it. It's been on it for a while. What is in it?
Not like that.
Bump it again. I'm not sure what to do about it, or what we can do about it. Well, we're free. Bump it up again. One more time. All right, hold on. Is that a muffler doing that?
I think so.
All right, bump it up again. Just don't get close to it, buddy, where if it falls over, it's not gonna. Again. Hold on. Again. Oh, hold on, we're hitting on something. Oh, I see. The brake? Just stay away from it.
It's going.
You gotta move. Get over there and put that wheelbarrow under the middle of the stand. That's how you're cracking.
It's going, it's going, it's going.
Grab it, grab it.